I'm on the street. That's the arrangement. Stay home, clip your coupons, be a happy man.
March 3rd, 1999. Four guys in a car headed to a sit-down with New York wise guys. The FBI had a mic in the vehicle. One of the four was already working for the feds. His name was Ralph Guarino. Nobody in that car knew it. The conversation started normal. Business talk. Who owed what? Who was showing up to the meeting? Then one of them, a soldier named Joseph Sclafani, everybody called him Tin Ear because of his hearing aid, started asking about a TV show. He wanted to know what this Sopranos thing was about, whether it was supposed to be them. Anthony Rotondo, a captain in the outfit, told him straight. Said Sclafani was in there, said they mentioned his name on the show. Sclafani wanted to know what they said. Another guy in the car, a Brooklyn club owner named Billy, told him the characters on the show warned each other to watch out for a guy just like him. Nobody laughed. The car went quiet for a second. Then Rotondo kept going. Every week he watched the show, he spotted someone new. One week it was Corky. That was their nickname for Gaetano Vastola, an old-time soldier. Another week it was Don Giacomino. The show was pulling names, faces, places straight out of their world. Not just close, exact. They pointed out a bookstore on the show, right across from the church. They recognized the block. They talked about how the characters always sat outside a certain spot, same way they did. Don Rotondo pointed out how the show's acting boss, Jackie April, died from stomach cancer. Their own former acting boss, Jake Amari, died from the same thing. Same rank. Same disease. Rotondo wrapped it up with a short review. Called the characters great. Said the acting was great, like he was rating a movie of a dinner. The FBI agents listening to this tape couldn't believe what they had. A real Jersey crime family was sitting in a car reviewing a TV show about themselves, breaking down the characters, naming the real guys each one was based on. And none of them had any clue they were being recorded doing it. Guarino, the guy who got them talking about the show in the first place, was the one holding the wire. This wasn't the Gambinos, wasn't the Genovese, wasn't any of the 5 families in New York. This was the DeCavalcante outfit, New Jersey's only homegrown Mafia family. The crew the 5 families called the Farmers, the one John Gotti dismissed as his farm team, a minor league operation no one in New York took seriously. And this tape was just the last chapter in a story the FBI had been listening to for 35 years. The whole thing started with a plumbing supply store, Kenilworth, New Jersey, a town most people drive through on their way somewhere else. The store was called Kenilworth Plumbing and Heating Company. The owner was Simone DeCavalcante. On paper, Sam was a businessman, a plumbing wholesaler who showed up to work every day, talked to contractors, kept his books straight. On the street, he ran every racket from Elizabeth to Newark. Gambling, loan sharking, hijacking. He also had labor racketeering operations and ran pornography businesses across 2 states. His crew pulled in $20 million a year just from the gambling side. And that was 1960s money. People called him Sam the Plumber. He hated that name, despised it, told everyone he came from Italian royalty, said his family descended from an Italian marquis named Cavalcanti, and his wife Maria Caterina de' Medici. He wanted to be called the Count. Nobody did. Some guys behind his back called him the Claw because of how hard he squeezed people on loan payments. To the newspapers and the feds, he was always Sam the Plumber, and it hated him every time he heard it. Sam had taken over the family somewhere between 1960 and 64, after the old boss, Nicholas Delmore, stepped down due to illness. Before Delmore, the crew was run by Filippo Amari, a quiet old-timer who'd built the outfit from a small group of Sicilian immigrants in Elizabeth. They weren't flashy, they weren't headline makers, they were steady earners who stayed out of the papers. Sam changed that not because he wanted attention, but because he was ambitious. He doubled the number of made men in the family. He brought in new rackets. He altered the initiation ritual, got rid of the gun, the knife, and the burning holy card that other families still used. Said he didn't think it was necessary. He wanted to modernize. He also wanted a seat at the table. the Commission, the Mafia's board of directors. The bosses of the 5 families sat on it. Sam believed his outfit deserved a spot too. He lobbied for it. He pushed for it. And when Carlo Gambino gave the seat to Joe Colombo instead, Sam took it hard. He was on tape talking about it with his underboss, Frank Maggiore. Said Colombo just sat there next to Gambino like a baby, doing whatever Gambino told him. Then Sam got quieter, told Maggiore that the more you see in this life, the more disillusioned you get. Said something about honesty and honor not meaning what they used to. That was the other thing about Sam. Talked. A lot. And in 1961, the FBI got a bug inside his office. The bug ran from 61 to 65. 4 locations total. Sam's plumbing office in Kenilworth, a company in Newark controlled by Gerardo Catena, a vending company in Philadelphia owned by Angelo Bruno, and a building they called The Barn behind a restaurant on Route 22 in Mountainside. What the FBI picked up filled over 2,300 pages of transcripts. They called them the DeCavalcante papers. One Justice Department official said the recordings were just as important as Joe Verlacci's testimony, the first time a made man had publicly confirmed the Mafia's existence. Sam talked business. He talked women. He talked about his fears. One morning he walked into his office and told his secretary about a nightmare he'd had. Said cops were everywhere. She was in it too, screaming, wearing pearls. His wife Mary had to shake him awake. He couldn't remember all of it, just the pearls and the screaming. The tapes also revealed something his wife didn't know. Sam was sleeping with the secretary and with other women. His underboss, Maggiore, warned him about it, told him he shouldn't be running around because guys like Catena and Gambino didn't do that. Sam didn't listen. When the transcripts were unsealed in June 1969, a New York Times reporter showed up at Sam's house in Princeton. His wife Mary answered the door. She said she'd rather not talk about it. Said she didn't mind being asked, but hoped the reporter would appreciate her feelings. That was all she said. Then she closed the door. A car crusher, a garbage compactor, and a device one of them described as being able to turn a human corpse into a meatball. Tony Soprano sat in a psychiatrist's office for 6 seasons, talking about the same kind of weight, panic attacks, nightmares, the ducks in his pool, the feeling that the world was closing in, that the old ways were gone and everything he built was slipping away. Sam had those same conversations with his secretary, not a therapist. 35 years before the show aired, here's what every other channel gets wrong about this story. They all start with the same line. The DeCavalcante crime family inspired The Sopranos. David Chase, the guy who created the show, said something different. In a 2002 interview with New Jersey Monthly, Chase said 90% of the show was made up. The other 10% was patterned after a real crew, not the DeCavalcantes. A Genovese crew run by Ruggiero Boiardo out of Newark. People called him Richie the Boot. Chase grew up visiting relatives in Newark's North Ward, Italian neighborhood. He had a cousin with fuzzy connections to the Boiardo crew in Livingston, an upscale suburb nearby. That's where the show came from. Boiardo's son was named Anthony. Everyone called him Tony Boy. The Boiardo estate in Livingston looked like a castle. Life magazine called the architectural style Transylvanian traditional. Roman busts all over the grounds. A fountain in the front. And in the basement, a furnace. Locals said that's where the bodies went. The crew had guys named John Russo and his brother Anthony. John's nickname was Big Pussy. Anthony's was Little Pussy. On FBI surveillance tapes, Tony Boy described beating a man to death with his father. Said the boot hit the guy with a hammer first. The guy went down, then came back up. So Tony Boy grabbed a crowbar and hit him 8 times in the head. The guy's last act before he died was to spit in Tony Boy's face. On another tape, the crew remembered locking a victim in a car trunk and setting it on fire. One of them said the guy must have burned like a bastard. These guys weren't brooding, weren't conflicted, weren't seeing therapists. They were proud of what they did. The DeCavalcantes just happened to see themselves in the TV show, and the FBI happened to be recording them when they did. Back to Sam. Those tapes caught more than nightmares and body disposal talk. They caught political corruption, too. Days before Thomas Dunn was elected mayor of Elizabeth in 1964, Dunn visited Sam at the plumbing office. On the recording, Dunn asked Sam to get certain people to keep quiet before the election. Sam promised support. Then he asked Dunn if there might be some city work in it for him once Dunn won. Dunn laughed and said maybe. When the transcripts went public, Dunn claimed Sam had never asked him to do anything irregular or illegal. Said he hadn't known about Sam's underworld ties. Nobody believed him. A congressman named Cornelius Gallagher got caught up too. One of Sam's associates suggested that Gallagher, who sat in the U.S. House of Representatives, could help fix a deportation case for a connected guy. Gallagher denied everything, said people dropped names, said he couldn't be responsible for who mentioned him. The bugs were illegal, though. No court order. None of the tapes could be used to indict Sam directly. His own lawyer, Sidney Franzblau, filed motions demanding the government reveal any surveillance, and accidentally got the entire 2,300 pages released to the public. He'd forgotten to ask that the transcripts be disclosed only to the defense. Sam fired him the next day. Sam got convicted in 1970 on an extortion case. Got 15 years. That conviction got overturned on appeal the following year. The court said the evidence was insufficient. Then he pled guilty to running a $20 million a year gambling ring between Newark and Troy, New York. Got 5 years. Served about 2.5. In prison, he worked as a nurse. The chief medical officer at the Atlanta Penitentiary praised him. Said Sam had proven to be one of the best inmate nurses he'd ever supervised. Sam took care of elderly patients, chronic cases. The same guy who discussed turning corpses into meatballs was changing bedpans and checking blood pressure for sick old men. He got out in '73, moved to Florida in '76, tried to build a legitimate casino resort in South Florida. Voters rejected casino gambling in a 1986 referendum. The project died. Sam handed the family to Giovanni Riggi in the early 80s. He died on February 7, 1997, at a hospital in Fort Lauderdale. He was 84. Never made the commission. Never got the respect he wanted. Got buried at Greenwood Cemetery in Hamilton, New Jersey. Riggi ran things from behind bars after catching a racketeering charge. He needed someone on the street handling day-to-day operations. He picked John D'Amato as acting boss. People called him Johnny Boy. D'Amato was well-liked, connected, had people's loyalty, had a girlfriend in Brooklyn. But he had a secret that would get him killed. His girlfriend found out he'd been going to a sex club in Manhattan with men. She told Anthony Capo, a rising soldier in the crew. Capo brought it to the other captains. The discussion was short. In the Mafia, that's a death sentence. No debate, no appeal, no second chance. January 6, 1992, Capo and Victor De Chiara picked D'Amato up from his girlfriend's place in Brooklyn. Told him they were heading to lunch. During the drive, Capo turned around in the front seat and shot him multiple times at close range. D'Amato's body was never found. The hit wasn't sanctioned by Riggi from prison. The captains decided on their own. Some sources later claimed the real motive wasn't just the sex club. D'Amato was also getting too close to New York families, making moves without permission. Secret life gave them the justification they needed to do what they already wanted to do. 14 years later, The Sopranos did the same storyline. Vito Spatafor. A made man gets outed, gets clipped. The writers said the plot wasn't based on D'Amato. Details say otherwise. Same outfit, same secret, same ending. After D'Amato, Riggi needed another guy on the street. He picked Vincent Palermo, Vinnie Ocean. Palermo was born in New York City, grew up around wise guys, married into the DeCavalcante family. His wife was Sam's niece. He did what was asked, kept his head down. Earned in 1989, he got his biggest assignment. John Gotti wanted a guy named Fred Weiss, dead. Weiss was a Staten Island developer and garbage hauler. Gotti was convinced Weiss was about to cooperate with the feds. He didn't want to use his own people. The order came down through Gotti's associate Joe Watts, who put together a hit team that included Palermo. It was a loyalty test, a favor that puts you in someone's debt forever. September 11, 1989. Palermo, Anthony Capo, and James Gallo caught Weiss outside his Staten Island home. They shot him dead right there. Neighbors saw the car, nobody talked. That hit put Palermo on the map. He moved up fast. Gotti trusted him. The family owed New York a favor, and Palermo was the one who delivered. By '97, he was running the whole outfit, but he had a body count to build first. In 1991, old underboss Louis Larasso, everybody called him Fat Lou, was lured to a meeting. Capo, Greg Rego, and Louis Consalvo took him out. The three of them did it because that was the price for getting their buttons. They wanted to become made men. Killing Fat Lou was their entrance fee. It worked. All three got their buttons after the murder. Palermo also ran a strip club in Rego Park, Queens. Called it Wiggles, topless bar, all cash. He operated it the same way Tony Soprano ran the Bada Bing on TV. Same function, same setup. The club was a front for the family's cash flow. During 1 year alone, Palermo transferred $1.75 million in profit from that place to his son. That number came out during the trial. Palermo had the Bada Bing before the Bada Bing existed on television. The show premiered January 10th, 1999. Palermo had been running Wiggles for years before that. But Palermo also had a war brewing inside his own crew. A captain named Charles Maggiore wanted him gone. Maggiore was old school, connected to the original power structure under Sam and Ridgie. He didn't respect Palermo, thought he was reckless, thought the strip club and the New York connections were drawing too much heat. Maggiore told Jimmy Gallo, the same guy who helped Palermo clip Fred Weiss, to take Palermo out. Gallo went to Palermo instead, told him everything. Palermo's response was immediate. He recruited Capo, Gallo, and a guy named Joseph Masella to find and kill Maggiore first. They never got to Maggiore, but they got to Masella. On October 10th, 1998, Masella turned up dead in Brooklyn. Palermo authorized the hit. Masella had been involved in the family's New York gambling operations and knew too much about the internal war. He became a loose end that needed cutting. The family was eating itself from the inside. While all of this was happening, Ralph Guarino was trying to become a made man. Daranino was an associate, a hustler, street level. He wanted to get his button, full membership in the family, and he thought he knew how to earn it. So, on January 14th, 1998, Guarino led a three-man crew to rob a Bank of America branch inside the World Trade Center, 11th floor of the North Tower. Broad daylight, three guys with guns. They hit the armored car guards during a cash delivery. They got away with $1.6 million. The plan worked. The getaway fell apart. One of Guarino's crew was an addict. They grabbed cash instead of untraceable bonds. Every serial number was recorded. Every bill was marked. Within weeks, Guarino got pinched, facing serious federal time for a robbery inside one of the most secure buildings in America. He made a choice. He flipped, started wearing a wire for the FBI. For the next 2 years, Guarino recorded everything. Every sit-down, every shakedown, every petty scheme the family cooked up. And some of those schemes were embarrassing even by mob standards. The DeCavalcantes had plans to sell counterfeit Viagra online. This was 1998. Viagra had just hit the market. They saw an opportunity. They also discussed forging copies of Action Comics #1, the first appearance of Superman. The original was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their plan was to make fakes and sell them to collectors. This was the mighty DeCavalcante outfit. The Mafia family that saw themselves in a prestige HBO drama, and they were scheming about knockoff pills and fake comic books. The five families called them the Farmers for a reason. That car ride on March 3rd, 1999, where Rotondo and Tin Ear talked about the Sopranos, Guarino was in that car. He brought up the show on purpose, got them talking, got them relaxed, got them naming real guys they saw in fictional characters, and every word went straight to the FBI. December 2nd, 1999, the FBI moved. 39 members and associates got picked up in a single morning. Palermo, Rotondo, Capo, captains, soldiers. The whole structure top to bottom in one sweep. The charges covered everything. 5 murders, 7 murder conspiracies, extortion, loan sharking, bookmaking, robbery, mail fraud, trafficking in stolen property, counterfeit goods, and stolen savings bonds. The Weiss hit, the D'Amato hit, the Larasso hit, all of it laid out in federal indictments. The New York Times ran the story on December 3rd, reported that the DeCavalcantes had broadened their criminal reach far beyond what the FBI had initially expected. Palermo looked at what was coming. Life in prison. Multiple murder charges with cooperating witnesses ready to testify. 2 years of Guarino's recordings sitting in evidence. No way out. He flipped. Vinnie Ocean, the man running the DeCavalcante family, walked into a federal office and started talking. He admitted to 4 murders personally. The Weiss hit in '89. The Larasso hit in '91. 2 others. He confessed to 7 murder conspiracies. The plots against both D'Amatos, Masella, Maggiore, and Tom Salvata, who managed his own strip club Wiggles. He named names, gave dates, gave details the FBI didn't even have yet. A man who ran a crew, who ordered hits, who sat in the same car where his guys reviewed The Sopranos. He gave it all up to save himself. He went into witness protection, got a new name, moved to Houston, Texas, started over, didn't last. By September 2009, the New York Daily News and NJ.com both found him. He was running another strip club in Houston under his new identity. Same business, same guy. Different name, different state, same life. He'd gotten into a legal fight with a business partner over a $1.3 million note tied to the club. The partner sued. That's how his cover got blown. A lawsuit over a topless bar. The feds spent years building a new identity for him, and he torched it over a strip club in Texas. So Rotondo flipped too. Testified in 2003, sat in a Manhattan federal courtroom while prosecutors played that car ride tape for the jury, the one where he broke down The Sopranos episode by episode, where he named the real guys, where he told Tin Ear the show was about them. The jury heard a real mobster rating a TV show about mobsters, while being secretly recorded by another mobster who was working for the FBI. The prosecutors didn't need to add anything. They just hit play. Rotondo gave up everything he knew about the Weiss hit, the D'Amato conspiracy, and the family's internal power struggles. He confirmed on the stand that Gotti had ordered the DeCavalcantes to take out Weiss as a loyalty test. He connected every dot between the families. Capo pled guilty too, the guy who shot D'Amato during that car ride. The guy who helped clip Weiss on his front lawn. The guy who put Fat Lou Larasso in the ground to earn his button. He cooperated. He testified he named the same names from a different angle. He died in 2012. Ziggy, the old boss who'd been pulling strings from prison for decades, never got out. He died on August 3rd, 2015, 90 years old. You'd think that would be the end of it. 39 arrests. The boss flipped. The captains flipped. The soldiers pled out. The family's entire leadership was either locked up, in witness protection, or in the ground. It wasn't in March 2015 the FBI hit what was left of the DeCavalcantes again. Charles Stango, a 71-year-old captain, got picked up at his home in Henderson, Nevada. His son Anthony got arrested too. The charge, plotting to take out a rival member of the family. Same crew. same patterns, same internal wars. Different decade, the FBI had them on tape discussing the hit. Stango had retired to the desert, still plotting murders at 71. By 2016, Charles Maggiore, the same Maggiore who'd tried to have Palermo clipped back in '98, the same guy Palermo had tried to take out right back, ended up running what was left. The man who survived the war of the late '90s became the boss by default. The DeCavalcante family still exists today, still operates in North Jersey, still runs the same territory Sam the plumber staked out in Elizabeth back in the '60s. Smaller now, quieter, but active. The Sopranos ran for 6 seasons, 86 episodes, 0121 Emmys, changed television forever, turned James Gandolfini into an icon, made North Jersey the most famous mob territory in pop culture. David Chase created a show about a fictional boss who was drowning. The world was changing. The old rules were dying. The money wasn't what it used to be. His crew was disloyal. His family was falling apart. He sat in a leather chair once a week and told a therapist things he could never say out loud to anyone else. The real version of that story played out 10 miles from where the show was filmed. Sam DeCavalcante told his secretary about his nightmares in 1964. Vinnie Ocean ran a strip club that looked exactly like the Bada Bing. Johnny Boy D'Amato got clipped for a secret that became a plot line 14 years later. Anthony Rotondo sat in a wired car and told the FBI, without knowing it, that the show nailed everything. Every week he watched, he said he spotted somebody new. Tony Soprano got a finale people still argue about. The DeCavalcantes got indictments.